The P2000 code is one of the least favorite DTCs for a Ford mechanic since there is a ton of possible culprits and it's sometimes extremely hard to locate the issue. I will try to give you a short overview of the problem, and this may eventually help you avoid a 2,000 or 3,000 euros repair in the dealership. First of all, the P2000 code covers the nitrogen oxide sensors that basically measure the efficiency of your DPF. There are two such sensors in Ford engines. The first one is installed in the exhaust manifold before the DPF, and the other one is integrated into the DPF. Even though the P2000 code tells you about sensor 1 failure, the problem may be with both sensors, so they both require inspections. The first step when you see the P2000 code is to read all other codes using ForScan or any other Ford-compatible diagnostic system. Otherwise, you may be throwing your money into the huge money pit with all those emission control parts. Why is it important? Because Ford cars very often throw the P2000 code because there are issues with air or fuel intake and the NOx sensors register anomalies, so you need to cover all other codes and make sure everything else works well. The best thing is to reset all the codes, take the car for a 10-kilometer ride, and then read the codes again and see what's left. For example, if there are fuel pressure codes, pay attention to the fuel filter. Or if you see misfiring codes like P0300 or P0302, check the compression and see if there are issues with the fuel injection system. This is a very long story, so the idea is to isolate the P2000 code and make sure it's the only DTC that's currently active in your vehicle. Then the next step is to clean the NOx sensors. Here you may need some help because the sensors sit quite tightly and you aren't likely to easily unscrew them. But anyway, getting help with this is cheaper than paying for the entire inspection at the dealership or an independent garage. The sensors are inevitably contaminated by soot that diesel engines produce. If the mileage in your vehicle is over 150,000 kilometers or 100,000 miles, this is a very likely reason for the P2000 code. There are lots of videos on how you clean these sensors, but if the mileage is over 300,000 kilometers or 200,000 miles, it's actually a good idea to buy the new sensors, which are not that cheap, unfortunately. Anyway, if you try cleaning them first, it won't hurt. There is a big chance that after cleaning the sensors, you will see the check engine light and the P2000 code again. In this case, the problem is extremely likely with the DPF filter itself. It won't regenerate properly and your oil level may get higher week after week. Now, first of all, you need to take the car to a good independent mechanic and check if the forced regeneration is possible. Also, there are ways to clean the DPF that maybe try it out, but as real life shows, they are not very helpful. The DPF replacement is probably the most expensive job to try and fix this P2000 code, and that's why you should try everything else to make sure that the DPF is the only remaining culprit that can set this P2000 code. Also, if your car can still manage to go through the annual emission test, or maybe there is no emission test in your country, you may keep driving with this P2000 DTC unless the engine oil level gets higher quickly. At least you can postpone a very expensive DPF replacement for some time.